Life is complicated and stressful. We're constantly bombarded with information and confusing messages about current global and personal events, and it's affecting our mental health. Even when we look away from our devices, what we've seen or heard can still creep into our thoughts, making it hard to escape. These events, along with friends, colleagues, family, and social media, all shape how we see our world and how we cope in a world that is ever-changing and fast-moving. At times, you may even find it hard to pause and catch your breath. Well, you're not alone. This noise outside of yourself can also create a lot of internal mental noise, which affects our mental fitness. And the stress of it all can wear us down, causing us to feel things like anxiety or depression. This can result in us choosing harmful ways of dealing with these feelings and thoughts through unhealthy behaviors, like overusing our devices, social withdrawal, excessive drinking, shopping, gaming, overeating, or other activities that make us feel good in the short term, but end up causing a lot of harm long term. All this stress comes at an enormous price, affecting not only these areas, but also our self-esteem, health, and our ability to cope. And at the same time, it often takes a huge toll on the ones we care about. In fact, unmanaged stress often impacts all of our relationships in some way, making it difficult to recover. Most of us have a recovery story of some kind, whether it's recovering from an illness, awful relationship, accident, traumatic event, or sudden loss. However, these experiences can lead to an ongoing state of severe and chronic stress, resulting in a variety of physical and emotional symptoms, including the development of the common colds of mental health, like anxiety and depression. All this talk about stress may have you feeling a bit stressed already, so I'd like to invite you to try a simple grounding technique that will help you catch your breath, calm your entire body down, and instantly feel more relaxed as you go through this module, or any experience that has your stress or anxiety levels going up. You can use this tool anywhere, anytime, because it's always with you. By now, you've probably figured it out or are familiar with the technique that I'm talking about. It is the conscious act of taking a deep diaphragmatic breath, which automatically lowers the stress hormone called cortisol in the body. To keep things simple, all I want you to do is take a deep breath in through your nose for 5 seconds, focusing all your attention on filling up your diaphragm like a balloon. Hold it for 5 seconds, then exhale through your mouth for 5 seconds. Let's try it once together. So breathe in through your nose. Hold 2, 3, 4, 5. Then slowly exhale through your mouth. That's it. What do you sense in your body? You can pause this session and practice on your own a few more times, or continue on. Now, I'd like to take a moment and unpack why we use the term common colds of mental health. It's certainly not to make light of these concerns, especially since the symptoms can have very damaging long-term effects. The reason why they're called the common colds of mental health is because of how widespread and common these concerns are. In fact, half of us will develop some kind of mental health concern in our lifetime. These issues affect all of us either directly or indirectly, and using the phrase common colds helps remove the negative thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, otherwise known as stigma, which are often attached to mental health concerns. You may be surprised at how deep your current beliefs and behaviors affect your mind and body. You may also be surprised at how painful events from your past can impact you in the present, causing you to distort or twist your thinking, resulting in a lot of mental noise, which can influence your mental and physical well-being. Did you know that your brain forms 1 million new connections every second of your life? And that your thoughts, emotions, and memories can produce their own stress response? So if you struggle with racing thoughts and find yourself worrying about unlikely outcomes, or you feel overwhelmed with anxiety or depression, you're not alone. And as you can see, it's for a legitimate reason. In fact, your mind can produce more stress than the body can handle. Research shows that there are over 1,400 physical and chemical reactions activated in the human body when someone is having an intense stress response. Research also shows that long-lasting or chronic stress will negatively affect your emotions and thoughts. In other words, your brain. Cortisol, which is the main stress hormone in our body, is responsible for this because it's not designed to support prolonged stress. It's kind of like riding on a roller coaster. It may feel fun and exciting at first. However, if it keeps going with no end in sight, you're likely to feel increased stress or anxiety and want to get off, resulting in a feeling of panic and fear. Cortisol helps us get through stressful situations, yet works against us when we remain on high alert. So although you may not actually be on a roller coaster, you may be experiencing the same kind of intense, long-lasting stress that keeps your cortisol levels too high, wreaking havoc in your mind and body. That's why it's so important not to devalue the importance of your mental health, because even though you can't see the damage that your mental stress is causing, i.e. the racing thoughts and feelings, it doesn't mean it's not hurting you. As human beings, we all have what's called a negativity bias, which means we're hardwired to look for possible threats to our safety, which isn't such a bad thing, because as a species, we've needed some level of anxiety to survive. Heights, snakes, and fire are some of the biggest fears we've had, which have helped keep us alive even now. The brain is designed to seek out possible threats and, at the same time, uniqueness, novelty, new and interesting things. So, here's a question for you. Which one of these is the more dangerous error to make? Thinking a beige rock is a lion? Or thinking a lion is a beige rock? Which scenario would result in a worse outcome for you? If you thought the lion was a beige rock, you'd likely only be able to make that mistake once. In this example, it's better to think that a beige rock is a lion, so at least you'd be alerted that there is danger around, so you can hopefully avoid it. Which makes sense, right? Our brain has evolved to help us survive. It's used to scanning for possible threats. It's trying to keep us alive. And it does this extremely well and efficiently. However, sometimes, for some people, too efficiently, at too high a mental and emotional price. So there is a cost and downside to this negativity bias. For people who have experienced a lot of adverse events or threats in their lives, every object or situation may feel like a threat. In this case, the threat response gets hijacked and turned on, which results in a fight, flight, freeze response. Our stress response is a mobilization response. It tells us to take action right now. However, at times, this can be overactive. That stress response is trying to do its job, and it's natural to have fears. However, sometimes our mental noise can take over, and we need to be able to turn down the volume of the threat response and realize sooner that not every beige rock is a vicious lion. Sometimes a beige rock is just a harmless object. Continue with us to explore tools and learn techniques to help balance your mental noise and handle stress so you can participate in a healthier life.